Straya, how are you going? Yeah, I hope you're all right. You should be. It's Thursday. That's right, March 13. St. Paddy's Day's around the corner. Anyway, this is NBA Straya. I am your host, James Clements. I'm here in Larry Armour Studios. Feeling good, feeling great. Another quick show today because I've got to get out to the Sport NXT conference again for day 2. Hang out with all the nerds and sports industry folks. Oh, yeah, sure. Anyway, but still going to go through everything. We've got a new Boomers coach. That's big news. We'll talk about that. We got maybe an awesome NBA Finals preview today. We've got a Josh Giddey update. Got a bunch of other stuff. We've got the game wraps. That's not a knife. Oh, mate, no, mate. Spud of the night. Better than Lonzo Ball. Some yeah, does. The unpopular opinion of the day in OUTBACK Takehouse. We're serving up a fine grilled take. There is a quick Kiwi corner, the Australian player watch, and a pick and preview for the games tomorrow. So, should be a good one. Your mate Jim's also a little bit hungover after the NBL game last night, but anyway, she'll be right. Let's get into it. Episode 1224 of NBA Straya. Jeez, that's a lot. Let's go!
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gaze.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Dyson Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
Hi, this is Ryan Brockhoff.
This is Mitch Creek. This is Nick Kay.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya. You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
Watch out for the shark attack.
You better watch out for the attack of the new Boomers coach. Oh, geez. Let's start there with the daily. It's a whip around, this is Jim. Yes, it's the daily whip around. All the latest news you need. Let's start there. The Boomers have a new head coach. New coach, same as the old coach. Kind of. Adam Capron, already a Boomers assistant, has been named the new Boomers head coach. As I think I put out on the socials, sure. Way to go out on a limb. Fine. Right. I don't know. It's hard to get bent out of shape about this announcement, right? Caporn is a good coach. He's a really good developmental coach. Does great work, obviously. I think he's a really good basketball brain. And, I mean, he's there with the Wizards. Like, they've done little bits of development stuff. They've been pretty good-ish, I guess. But the other side of this argument is it would have been pretty interesting to see the Boomers get an NBA head coach to come in with a fresh outlook, a fresh perspective, and none of the existing Boomers baggage. Oh, but Jim, the Boomers baggage is good. I mean, is it? Like, for someone to come in and start fresh and not be beholden to certain senior players' voices from around the Boomers, etc., making demands, perhaps, to influencing selections, perhaps, he says. Like, you can't tell me that Quinn Snyder wouldn't come in and just go, what? I don't care. Shut up. I'm playing the best 12 players. I'm taking the best 12 players. This is my plan. This is how we're going to do it. Does Adam Capron afford us that? Maybe. So, I guess there's kind of two ways of looking at this, right? You get to go, cool, it's good for the culture. It continues that Boomers culture. It gives it like a sense of continuity about what the Boomers have achieved over the last 12 years and now into the future with a new generation of good young talent that Caporn can help develop within the confines of Basketball Australia and all that sort of stuff. The flip side is, if the culture was that good, I'm sure the culture probably could have endured having a fresh set of eyes and a fresh perspective from someone like Quinn Snyder, etc. The way they play, the way the roster's constructed. I kind of just want fresh eyes on everything at this point for the Boomers, right? So, Caporn being his own man, that's fine. A continuation of all things good about the Boomers, I guess, for the culture, for the development of the young players. That's good. He now has a chance to mold them in his own fashion. That's also good. Are we sure he's the right X's and O's guys for this as well, though? That's the only question I've got. Sure. I'm happy to sort of get behind it, but I still feel like we could have gone big game hunting a little bit more, and it probably would have been more beneficial for the Boomers overall to have a complete set of new eyes on the very specific problem that is the Boomers and transitioning away from the older generation into the younger, awesome generation that we're currently seeing actually be really good in the NBA without having sort of any ties really from a personal or traditional standpoint. It would have been nice. So here we are. Let me know what you think. Send in through the DMs. Go hammer and tongs. I want to know what you think about our new Boomers head coach, Adam Capron. Just saying, those Wizards, how's their development going? Anyway, other news. Josh Giddey, we got an update. Josh Giddey's doing much better than they thought, which is good. He's out of his walking boot. Billy Donovan did say that he's going to be out for a little bit. Gids then also fronted the media a little bit. Apparently, he once he left the United Center in a walking boot after the game the other day, he apparently spent overnight in a game-ready ice machine. You got to wake up every 40 minutes to turn it back on. So he was able to walk again the next day. No worries. He's not going to play the Bulls next game, but apparently he is feeling much better. The pain is much better than expected. Gids himself says that he's day-to-day, which is always good. The Bulls obviously basically locked into the 10 seed. They can probably give him a little bit of a rest if need be. The problem is he was playing so bloody well, I'd kind of just want him to get it back out there and keep it rolling. So, anyway. Other news, LeBron James. With his left groin, he's returned back to LA. They're on a big road trip, of course. The Lakers, they played in Brooklyn yesterday. They've got a game tomorrow against the Bucks, and then again on a back-to-back, they play Denver. So a bit of a rough one. But LeBron's not traveling with the team now. He's gone back to LA for a little bit of treatment. Keep an eye on that as well, because what? They didn't have Rui Hachimura or Jackson Hayes or Dorian Finney-Smith in that Nets game. So we'll sort of keep an eye on it. I think there's no Jackson Hayes, there's no Rui or LeBron, obviously, for the Milwaukee game tomorrow. But yeah, pretty interesting about the Lakers right now. Good time to have their injuries, I reckon, so they can ramp up the last couple of weeks. Utah, the Yaz. It's a soft J. Were fined $100,000 dues. Jesus. For apparently violating its player participation policy, the PPP. As we all call it. Apparently, this is when Larry Marketing basically just didn't play against the Wizards last week, as well as other recent games was the quote, which is pretty fun. Because Marketing is obviously termed as star player because he was an all-star, 2 years ago? And he hasn't played since, the end of February. So they're saying it's it's injury management for his lower back. We're tanking. Oh, yeah, his back's injured. We're tanking really, really hard. One more violation is going to cost them a cool $250,000. That's $250,000. Quick little update on the lottery odds. The Nets are tied with the Raptors now after the Raptors won today. Sixers lose. Amazing gear across the NBA right now. The Sixers, with the Raptors sort of jumping up, it's pretty funny because the Raps are now ahead of everybody. So they're essentially, hanging out with this, what are they, 23 and 43. So the Nets are slightly ahead of them. And the 22 and 43, they're tied with Philly, which is amazing. So the tankathon is real. I'm going to get to that in a second of the game wraps. And then the final little bit of news, a bit of a sad one. Oliver Miller passed away, which is a bit of a shame. You might remember Oliver Miller as being the big fella. He was on the 93 Suns, I reckon. That finals team that, ended up losing to MJ's Bulls. Love me a bit of Big O. He was fantastic. He was such an iconic player. So he ends up playing for, I think, 6 teams in the end. I think it was the Suns. There we go. Suns, Detroit, Toronto, Dallas, Sacramento, and then back to the Suns before he retired. So Oliver Miller, he was pretty young too. So he was 54 years old. Big dude. That stinks. All right, let's do some game wraps. There are still 2 games going on right now. They're actually really, really good. Minnesota is currently beating Denver at the half, and the Knicks and Blazers game is like really, really tight. But either way, because I've got to run to sports NXT, we'll just do the rest of the games and we'll cover off those other ones if anything chaos happens tomorrow. Like it did in yesterday's game. If you cast your mind back to that Milwaukee, Indiana bit that I was talking about on the show, I'm like, they're up 4 with 3.9 seconds left. They're fine. The Bucks have won. God damn it! Tyrese Halliburton has a game-winning 4-point play, which was just insane. Like, come on, Milwaukee. There's one way they can beat you. A, don't foul. B, just don't contest the shot. Who cares? You're up 4, you idiots. Anyway, so the Pacers got a big win over the Bucks yesterday because of that. Anyway, today's games, we had the OKC-Boston game, which is an absolute belter. No J-Dub for OKC. Obviously, no extreme zinger meal for the Boston Celtics.
Extreme zinger meal.
And at times it felt like no Jrue Holiday because he was not very good. But the big story for this one was the Celtics shooting 1 million 3-pointers, right? And you live by the 3, you die by the 3, don't you? They went 20 of 63. They took 94 total shots. That's 2/3 of their shots were threes in this game, and they lose by 6. Interesting. It is interesting, isn't it?
Interesting stuff.
I don't know, maybe get other shots that aren't threes, especially when you got Tatum going 4 of 13, Jaylen Brown going 0 of 5, Jrue going 1 of 7. Yes, average Al Horford and Derek White went 6 of 12 each, but Jesus! They took 24 shots in the first quarter. 22 of them were threes. It was absolutely absurd watching this game. You're like, dudes, you can get just 2. It's fine. Like, they had 30 after the first quarter, but still. They took 36 threes in the first half, which was a record. And yes, they ended up taking 63 in the game and losing. It tells you a bit of a story, doesn't it, Jim? You see, the Boston Celtics fans are out there crying about foul hunting, foul baiting. And you know what? They're called free throws for a reason. They got to the line to the OKCs 35 times in that game versus 12 for the Celtics. Yeah, you don't go to the line when you're launching 63 fucking threes, you idiots. Oh, but they're foul hunting. How about you try to get to the fucking rim, Boston? Jesus. Awesome game from SGA. Fantastic sort of like Chet Holmgren game as well. They look pretty chaotic, right? With the double big lineups there, sort of throwing some zones at Boston here and there. And Boston, like JB fouls out. Jaylen Brown has an absolute Barry Crocker shocker. Hashtag, Spud of the night. 10 points on 5 of 15 shooting and fouls out. But wow. It was just such a great statement by OKC just to go, that's cool. Hey, check out our bench dudes. Here's Isaiah Hartenstein. Here's Kenrick Williams. Here's Isaiah Joe. They're all just going to do a little bit of something. And that's despite Aaron Air Wiggins being horrible. He's going to pop up again later. Good win for OKC. They're now 54-12. 47-19 for the Celtics. We're going to talk about these two teams again later quickly. Charlotte lost in Atlanta 110-123. Aussie on Aussie violence. I'll talk about that in a second. Atlanta just curb stomp them in the end. The Hornets are just bad. They're 16-49. Miles Bridges 31-11. Mark Williams with 14-14. 25 for LaMelo on 6 of 21 shooting. 20 for Daquan Jeffries. And nothing else. It was pretty bad. Whereas the Hawks crushed it. Like 35 for Trey. George Niang, the minivan. He did well. Like, they just looked really solid and ran away with it late. That second half, they were just unstoppable. Good win for the Hawks. They're 32-34. And right there in the thick of those Eastern Conference standings out there, they're currently still in 7. They're 2 games clear of the Magic in 8. Philly got stomped by Toronto. Absolute tank commander vibes. 118-105. These two teams suck. As I mentioned, they're now, the Raps are 23-43 after that win. Sixers 22-43. That's a double loss for the Sixers, which they got to love. Dallas fell short against San Antonio, 126-116. De'Aaron Fox was really good. They ran away with that late. Dallas now still in 10th. They're 33-34 because the Suns just can't make up any ground on them because they're just bad. While the Spurs are now 27-37. Clippers went into Miami and beat them. It was a really impressive win by the Clippers. I sort of talked about this on yesterday's show. The Heat had a fire lit under their ass by Eric Spoelstra. They did not respond because this team is COOKED cooked, mate. They're 29 and 36 the Heat now. They got 31 from Tyler. There goes my hero. And no one else did shit. 22 for Andrew Wiggins. Bam was horrible. Just everybody sucked. Terry Rozier is basically throwing games at this point. And the Clippers got an awesome Harden game, a great Zoobs game, but incredibly enough, Bogdanovich, yeah, he's alive. He had 30, 10, and 4. Great game from him. Great win for the Clippers. They're 36 and 30, 29-36 for that Heat team. Phoenix, as mentioned, could not get over the hump against Houston, 111-104. The Suns are just not that good. There was a brouhaha in this one, Steven Adams versus Plumdog Millionaire. And KD had 19 points, 25 for Brad Beal, 19 for Booker. This is the Rockets defense. Just give them the clamps. You want me to use these clamps? It's like, yeah, I want you to use Tari Eason and Dylan Brooks and just shut the fucking Phoenix Suns down. And that's what they did. It was gnarly. Jabari Smith was really good, 33 minutes. He was a plus 11. But Jalen Green had 29, 7 and 4. You had Şengün had 20 and 7 as well. Good win for the Rockets. They're 41 and 25. Suns 30 and 36. Just all over the shop. Utah fell short in Memphis, 115-122. Ja Morant with the ice cold 3 dagger at the end, 28 and 7 for him. Memphis just hold on. Utah are just scrappy and a pain in the ass to play, which is testament to Will Hardy's coaching. And they had Lowry play this one. They had John Collins at the Tyler Cocktail play as well, and Walker Kessler and Colin Sexton, and they still lost. That's just good tanking. They even had Jordan Jeremy Clarkson. Basically, they brought all their dudes back, and Memphis like, Jesus, come on, man, that's a bit harsh. And the Grizz were too good. Thanks mostly to Luke Kennard going for 30. 122-115. Grizz now 42 and 24. Utah 15 and 51. And that is all of the games at the moment. Halftime in the other two. Minnesota beating Denver. Awesomely interesting game when Minnesota's like healthy and really just like putting the foot on the throat of the Nugs. Like Randall's got 14 at the moment. Jokic and Rusty are the only ones doing anything for the Nugs. They don't have Aaron Air Gordon, but meanwhile, Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray are a 1 of 12 combined. Brutal. It'd be interesting to see if the Knicks get by the Blazers. As I said on yesterday's show, the Blazers are feisty, and we'll push them right to the edge. Let's do an NBA Straya approved performance of the night, though, for what we've seen so far. Let's do it. Press the button, Jim.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 34, 5 and 7, crushed it when absolutely needed. The three-point shot was just there when he needed it too. They went up and they went up to Boston. They shipped up to Boston. 11 to 20 from the floor. 10 of 11 at the free throw line. People getting antsy about him, like foul baiting, foul hunting. Mate, he's just so good. He's so good. Chet gets an honorable mention, that one, 23 and 15 as well. Trae Young gets an honorable mention as well, 35, 7 and 12. And quietly has been pretty bloody good the last couple of months. The shot still isn't there, but he's still getting his numbers. He went 7 to 20 today and 0 of 5 from 3, but still. 32, 9 and 11 for Darren Fox as well. A couple of really good games. But SGA was the one that really stood out against Boston because they've got defenders coming out the fucking wazoo. And you think about a potential NBA Finals between these two, and SGA just going, yeah, it's neat. Check this out. Still getting fucking 34. Sucked in. He had 5 turnovers, and it did not bother him. He had 2 weird ones. He kept like dribbling between his legs and like clipping it off the back of his like heel. It was weird, but still great stuff by SGA. Who was Spud of the night?
Spud, 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 it is Spud of the night.
Spud of the night. I mentioned your man, what was it, Jaylen Brown going 5 of 15, 0 of 5 from downtown. 6 fouls, 2 turnovers, 10 points. Brutal. Peyton Pritchard goes 3 of 10. 1 of 7 from downtown for Jrue Holiday. But Aaron Wiggins on the other side went 0 of 9. Jesus, Aaron Air Wiggins. Cam Whitmore goes 0 of 5 for the Rockets. He had 1 of 7 shooting for Jalen Wells. Royce O'Neal goes 1 of 6, 1 of 5 each for Josh Green. Brutal. Ricky Council 3 of 14, 3 of 12 for Onyeka Okongwu. Jamison Battle going 4 of 15 for the Raptors. 6 of 21, as I mentioned, for LaMelo. Just pretty all-round brutal gear. But I would very much like to thank LaMelo Ball from downtown. He went and shot. Oh, yeah! Woo! He shot 311. Thank you, LaMelo. You'll love to see that. Who's old mate, no mates?
Old mate, no mates.
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 Who's got no mates today? How about Mason Plumlee and Steven Adams getting into a bit of a brouhaha? Love that scuffle. I don't know why they both got ejected. They just had a bit of a cuddle. Right? Steven, I don't know how many Kiwis you know, but if you know any, you probably know they are cuddlers. Right? It doesn't matter if they're a fucking bouncer at a nightclub. Don't hug them while they're working. I'm just saying. But you know, they're just big huggers. It's just the Kiwi vibe. Steven Adams is like, I am protecting my teammates. Plum Dog is going off his head right now. I'm just going to wrap him up and take him to the ground so he doesn't hurt anybody else. Steven Adams is just doing his teammates a service and he got fucking kicked out. It's bullshit. And that is some old mate no mates because those refs need to pull their fucking heads in and meet a couple of Kiwis. He's just giving him a hug. If he wanted to, Steven Adams could pull fucking Plum Dog Millionaire's head off his shoulders. He chose not to. He wakes up choosing violence most of the times to Steven Adams. But it's like the Hulk. The secret is he's always angry. But he tamps it down because he's a Kiwi. And he's fine. He's not going to blow his lid and fucking tear his head off unless he chooses to. And he chose not to. So you can't kick him out for that. What are you doing, refs? Fuck. Pantsing of the night. Oh, an ultimate pantsing of a bit of Aussie on Aussie violence. Josh Green got by Dyson, the Great Barrier Thief Daniels. How good was that? This is one of those ultimate ones because you know it's going to come up at Boomer's training camp at some point. It's like, hey, remember I want to block the absolute fucking shit out of your shot and then scored at the other end. Dyson Daniels, you better believe that's a pantsing on Josh Green. My other one was Derek White got blocked. Derek White blocked Chet Holmgren. It was sick. Considering the dude's like 2 fucking foot taller than him, that's gnarly. Good job, Derek White. And finally, better than Lonzo Ball, Bronny James, and Ben Simmons.
Lonzo was the best player in high school. He was the best player in college. You think he'll get to the pros and be like, I made it to the pros, now I can be average. He's coming for everybody.
Coming for everybody. AJ Lawson, a.k.a. the Tank Commander, 28-6-4. What a run he's been on because you might remember from the weekend winners and losers, AJ had a bit of a rough weekend where he basically didn't hit a shot. And then today he played 36 minutes off the bench for the Raptors, got them the win, 28-6-4, went 4 of 9 from 3 and 10 of 20 from down from the floor, right? So just crushes it. What did I say? 4 of 9 from 3, 10 of 20 from the floor. There we go. He had 32 and 12 against Washington the other day, and that came after going a combined 4 of 24 over the weekend. So great job by AJ Lawson, better than Ben Simmons. In the last 2 games, on Tuesday, he hit 7 threes. Ben Simmons has hit 5 in his entire career, so great job. All right, let's do some quick Nars right after this.
This is Cam Glidden.
This is Anthony Drimmick.
This is Mitch McCarron.
This is Jason Giddey.
This is Daryl McDonald.
Hey guys, this is Hugh Greenwood.
Yo, what's going on? This is Illy.
This is Mark Worthington, or commonly known as Wortho, and you're listening to NBA Australia.
You listen to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA
And you're
Australia.
listening to NBA Australia.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
All right, let's do it. Let's do some yeah nahs. Adam Capron. Yeah nah. That's the simplest one. Yeah nah. I mean, I don't know what budget Basketball Australia is working with. I don't know what their priorities were. Were the priorities keeping the culture on the straight and narrow, keeping that Boomers culture alive, keeping it in-house, keeping some of the systems in place as well? Do they feel like that is the best way to succeed with this current group of Boomers for the next run of big tournaments? If that's their entire argument, sure. I still kind of feel like this Boomers team, in order to get the next level of just competitiveness, of having answers and like Never just fucking punching above our weight the entire... Oh, we're just so scrappy. Yeah, we're scrappy. That's great. The grit, it's awesome. At some point, you got to go, but also we're fucking good. And how do we harness that? And I think that's the biggest thing with this Boomers squad going like into the next World Cup, into the next Olympics, right? How do you harness that actual fucking quality? And is Caporn the guy? For good or real, we're going to find out. Yeesh. Hey, is that too many threes for Boston? Yeah, nah, yes. Boys, there's a thing called fucking balance. Threes are good. I get it. And 3-point variance is a massive, massive thing, obviously. But when you're only hitting a third of them, what do they go, 20 of 62 or whatever it was? Come on, that balance is just non-existent. And I can't imagine Joey Muzz is like, oh, bro, fucking how many threes did we take today? That was pretty good. 20 of 63, 31%, bro. You got to get other stuff going. Yeah, you don't have the extreme zinger meal. I get it. So you don't have the big fella right in there.
Extreme zinger meal.
But, wow. It's just a lot of threes. Just a lot. 63 is so many. Like, flip side, OKC took 37 in that game. It's just too many. Hey, can OKC win the whole damn thing, Jim? Yeah, nah. Yeah. I think they can. I think it was interesting to sort of see Mark Daigneault just go, look, rebounding, we need to fix that. And then throws two bigs out there. And they end up winning the rebounding battle, 44-41. It was awesome. Like, they've sort of, like, they didn't have Caruso today, but, like, their bench dudes, like Kenrick Williams, Hartenstein, and Isaiah Joe hit their shots. Were really, really good. And this was without J-Dub. They waxed the Celtics without J-Dub. They're fucking good, man. They're fucking good. That defense is awesome. And should team record matter when it comes to MVP? Yeah, nah. Yeah, to a degree, but unpopular opinion of the day.
Now look at me, please. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
I mean, it should when you're like 11 games up on the next team, like OKC is in a crazily competitive conference like this year's Western Conference League. Yeah, that does sort of matter. And I think it could be used as the tiebreaker with this SGA versus Jokic argument, right? Like, so Jokic, as Michael Malone says today, is like, look, if you just blind resume these motherfuckers without knowing that Nikola Jokic has already won 3 MVPs, you'd look at their numbers, you look at the team record and go, well, that guy should win MVP. I don't know about this. Like, SGA's leading the league in scoring, and they're 11 games up on the next best team in the West. It's insane. It might even be like 11 and a half now, yeah. So I think that might end up being a lot of people's tiebreakers for SGA this year, right? They just go, yeah, Nikola Jokic just put up insane stats. And even if they finish up with the 2 seed, and if they lose this game currently to Minnesota, they're down by 10 in the third quarter, they'll be 12 games back and basically tied with the Grizzlies 2-3. OKC's 12 games up. And he's averaging over 32 points. It's insane. I think team record should matter with MVP when it's that egregious. But also, you got to look at this idea of like value, right? Valuable player, most valuable player. Take away Jokic from Denver, what are they? They're fucking horrible. You take SGA away from OKC, they're probably not shit. But I don't know, he pushes them to this like next level that's just absurd. Anyway, quick Outback Takehouse. Oh yeah. It's Thursday at Outback, and you know what that means? Oh yeah, 2 for 1 bloomin' onions. No prick in Australia knows what the fuck these things are. What is it, some sort of deep fried onion made to look like a flower? You're off your fucking head, America. What are you doing? That's got nothing to do with Australia. I'll fucking smash ya. Orcos. Only at Outback. And today's Flame Grill take is, if you want to look at MVP from the most valuable player perspective, why the fuck not Cade Cunningham? If you take him off Detroit, that team is one of the 3 worst teams in the NBA. Cade Cunningham should be a top 3 MVP candidate right now. Only at Outback. I basically agree with that one. But anyway. All right, quick break. We'll hear from Hammer and then we'll get into the Australian Player Watch.
This is Shane Hill.
and you're listening to NBA Straya.
All right, time for our Australian Player Watch Thursday, March 13. Obviously, Josh Giddey gave you the update earlier in the show. Out at least for the next game that Chicago play, which is hosting Brooklyn tomorrow. So fingers crossed he's back out on the court very, very soon, however. Outside of that, we had Patty Thrills, rock up to his old digs there in Miami. And the Clippers got a big win. He played 2 minutes at the very end of that game and got zeros across the board. So did not bother the scorers their side. He got the $2 trillion. So thank you, Patty. We did have the Aussie showdown, didn't we? Dyson Daniels and Josh Green in the Charlotte Atlanta game. Dyson gets the win. He also had 10 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 steals. That's so many steals. He's had so many. It's ridiculous. Seriously. After the other day where he had, 2? He is now up to an absurd 184 for the season. Amazing. He also had 2 blocks. Greeny had a bit of a rough one. 30 minutes, 2 points, 1 of 5 shooting, 0 of 1 from downtown, 3 rebounds and 2 steals. Johnny Fefe got a did not play coach's decision in that Milwaukee game yesterday. Jingles is yet to see the floor in the Minnesota-Denver game. Last time I checked, he hasn't gotten out there. That's all right. You get that on the big jobs. Jock Landau did play against his old team as well in that win over Phoenix today. 9 minutes. He had 3 points. Obviously, Stephen Adams gets kicked out. We see Jock out there. 1 of 3 from the floor, 1 of 1 from the line. So 3 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and a steal. Very nice. Dante Exum, old Kangaroo Kobe, started against San Antone in the 126-116 loss. He had 17 points. It was fantastic. 6 of 7 from the floor, 2 of 3 from downtown, 3 of 3 from the free throw line, 3 of 3. 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and 1 turnover. Really good game for Dante. Unfortunately, they still lose. So, but his 17 points, you might remember, Dante's had a couple of games this year where he's looked super duper solid, hit all his shots, and just the sheer idea of him getting to 17, that's his second highest scoring game of the season. Hell yeah, Dante. Luke Travers copped a did not play coach's decision with Brooklyn against the Cavs yesterday. He was actually there for that game. And Alex Dukas was not out there as well. At the moment, for the OKC-Boston game. But at the moment, we've also got Do-Up, Bob, Do-Up playing against the Knickerbockers. He's actually gotten out there for a bit of a run so far. He's already played 13 minutes. He hit his first shot. He's missed the next 3. So he's got 3 points, 1 steal, 1 rebound, and 3 blocks. He's having a block party right now. That's good stuff. And that's the Australian Player Watch for today. How about a bit of Kiwi Korner? Love a bit of Stephen Adams. As I mentioned, he got booted out of today's game, which was rubbish. Oh, boo. I was just trying to protect my guys, but he had an awesome game the other day against Orlando. He dominated that game. So, Kiwi Korner, he had 6 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks, and 2 steals against New Orleans back on Sunday. Awesome game. Backed it up with easily his best game of the season. Did big Stephen Adams, bro. He had 11 points and 17 rebounds against the Orlando Magic on Tuesday. Went 5 of 6 from the floor. 11 points and 17 rebounds to go with an assist. Absolutely absurd gear. Awesome game. And he got kicked out today after 11 minutes. 0 of 1 from the floor. He had 1 rebound. 1 point, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist before being unfairly booted, if you ask me. Nobody did, Jim. Do not care. All right, let's do a Patty Mills Game Day Baller Game Day Twitter check-in. I don't know if I've actually got... I don't have my phone on me, but that's all right. It's charging. Let's do it. The Patty Mills Game Day Baller Game Day Twitter check-in. I'll just go to Instagram on the internet. Have you used Instagram on the internet? It's weird. It's like, none of this makes fucking sense. Patty, there he is. Point of view. You need a coffee before the game. I saw that one yesterday. There's a Dyson Daniels one. There you go. 123, 110. He's like 4 in a row. Got us buzzing. And then there's him having a good one. Oh, he's running the floor. Great pass from Trey. Beautiful layup from Dyson. I like that he's reposting his own highlights. It's very nice. Come on, let's show us the Josh Green one. Here we go. Yes, he does it. Defensive Player of the Year, Dice. Bang! He's reposting. And then scoring as well. So the Josh Green and then the floater, beauty. That is awesome. I love the slow-mo block. That is just great stuff. And then he's fit. Ultra drip as he's walking in. So that's the Dyson Daniels Game Day Baller Game Day Twitter check-in. All right, let's do some game previews for Friday. Game previews. Thanks, Inadvertent Bane. Not a problem, Jim. How's it all going? Good. Sport NXT was awesome yesterday. The NBL last night was absolutely off its head. I didn't even talk about that at the start of the show. I had a great time. Rolled in there steaming after a few beers after the Sport NXT yesterday, and had a great time. That game was absolutely sick. Like Ian Clark's free throws at the end, then the Tyler Harvey threw absolutely nuts. Really, really good night. So I'm a bit dusty today, but you get that on the big jobs. But remember, before we get into the game previews, you can find all of these picks over at Dabble. Make sure you bang the code in our description, our show description, which will be in your podcast feed or on the YouTube. Or the links are also on the Instagram and Facey stories, or I think underneath the Twitter post every day with the video as well. Bang in the code NBA Straya. Tell them I sent you. We'll keep this pirate ship afloat for a little bit longer, shall we? It has all the daily best multis, all the daily picks, and a couple of same-game multis here and there. Basically, the stuff that I like the most will be in there. So go follow along if that's your thing. If it's not, that's cool. I'm not really bothered. Tomorrow's games. Washington at Detroit. Awesome. Detroit have just been stomping teams here and there. They just look awesome at times to the Pistons. And they really just messed up the Wizards last time. They beat them by 20. They're 14.5-point favorites. I'm taking Detroit again. I love this Pistons team. The Lakers go to Milwaukee. As mentioned, the injury list is a bit tough there for the Lakers. They're 5.5-point underdogs without Rui Hachimura. No Jackson Hayes. I think it's going to be a bit much. I don't know if the defense can hold up without anyone and LeBron-ish big out there for them. So we'll go the Bucks minus 5.5. Brooklyn go to Chicago. Fascinating game. Brooklyn not really interested in winning. This is the exact moment where they'll do something stupid and win. Or come very, very close, I reckon. I'm going to take Brooklyn plus 2.5. You got Cam Johnson, Cam Thomas. There's just a team that just keeps on trying. And Chicago, without Josh Giddey, I don't like their chances that much. So I'm going to take the Nets plus 2.5 on the road in Chicago tomorrow. Should be a very fun one. Orlando take on the New Orleans Pelicans. The Magic have just looked all over the shop the last couple of weeks, haven't they? It has been brutal watching it. They managed 84 points against the Rockets the other day. That came the day after they beat the Bucks. Before that, they had lost 5 on the trot. I'm going to go the Pelicans plus 1.5 at home. They've just been kind of solid. They're basically locked into a bottom 4 seed anyway. They don't care. They're like, we'll win. Who cares? So let's go the Pels at home. And then Sacramento, Golden State. The Warriors are 6.5-point favorites at home against the Kings. The Kings were wildly disappointing the other day, weren't they? It was just, they absolutely fell flat on their face against the Knickerbockers, got their heads kicked in. Doug Christie will probably use, they got lost by 29. It's insane. I think Doug Christie will use this game as a get back on track, boys kind of thing. They've lost their last 2. That heartbreaking Clippers loss at the end of overtime from Kawhi. I think they can push the Warriors. Plus 6.5, I'm going to take the Kings. And there you go. So you can follow all those picks along over at Dabble. Bang in the code NBA Straya. Follow along there as well. Jump on the link in the show description wherever you do your things. Yeah, you can find the links. It's fine. All right, cheers. That's it for today. We will be back on deck tomorrow. Might even have a guest on tomorrow. I don't know. Waiting to hear back. Either way, you can make sure that you're following NBA Australia across all the socials. Twitter, Facey, IG, TikTok, YouTube. Jump in the comments. Send us some DMs. I want to know what you think about the Adam Capron appointment as the Boomers head coach. Let me know, and we'll read him in on tomorrow's show. Getting around NFL Australia, there's myself and Gaz. Big NFL offseason. We'll be covering that in a second. Check us a rating review on your Apple Podcast, your Spotify, YouTube, whatever app you use on the Android phone. Rate, review, star, please. That's all I ask. It does help out heaps. Tell them, mate. Get them into the show. Do what you got to do. Let's keep this pirate ship going. Big thanks always go to From Oslo for the intro and outro song. Check out House Hats, Joshua Delarentis, Fascinated, Goldmines, Ram, Shakalami, Iowa, Sextra, Green. And Doze is there behind all the tunes you hear throughout the show, so smash them all wherever you listen to your tunes, Apple Music, Spotify, etc. NBA Australia support Australian bands, so should you. And that's it. I got to run, so I got to get to this second day of this conference and go do some hobnobbing. And we will catch you tomorrow, you dickheads. There's NBA Australia saying, look after yourselves, would ya? And Steven Adams is bloody innocent. Innocent. Later, Hosen.